Hello everyone, welcome into Fatty's Feast, where we make the best food you'll ever eat without leaving your backyard. My name is Josh, and today we're going to be answering the age-old question, is removing your rib membrane really necessary? Let's get started. Ah yes, good old rib membranes. It's a very highly debated topic in the barbecue community because a lot of people say you need to remove the membrane because otherwise it's too chewy and it doesn't make the end product as good. Other people say leave it on, it doesn't freaking matter, it's still gonna be just as great. And then you have people like me who say leave it on, but score it so it gets a little more crispy, yet you don't have to do the work and time-consuming process of taking it off. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably know what a rib membrane is. But just in case you don't, if I flip this bad boy over, this is what we're looking at right here, this kind of covering on the back of our ribs. Now, if you're like me and you're just chilling out in your backyard, drinking some beers, making some ribs, and you only got 3 racks, taking the membrane off is really not that bad of a process. But if you're running a restaurant like, Aaron Franklin, he's not gonna sit there and take the time to pull all of his rib membranes off. In my time of cooking ribs, I've just settled on scoring them. I think it's quick, it's a little less labor intensive, and I've never not liked the membrane at the end. I don't even recognize it being there half the time. But today we're gonna do an experiment. I got 3 racks of St. Louis style ribs here from Costco. I complain about Costco briskets a lot, but their ribs always seem to be a great deal. And I went there and I got ribs that I think were pretty much the same size. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think I did a pretty good job this time. This is about 30 pounds, Jesus, never mind, 10 pounds of ribs. So I've already trimmed them up to get some of the excess stuff off that we don't like, any sharp edges I've rounded off, any additional meat in places. So they're all looking pretty hot. Now all we gotta do is deal with our membranes. So the easiest way to deal with a rib membrane is with a towel, because it is a slippery little guy, but I can also use a butter knife and I can slide it under here if I want to and try to rip it up. Since I already got a little bit coming up here, I'm gonna see if I can just grab this and take it off this way. It's gonna be a little tough. Well, maybe not. And if you can get a clean pull, that's the best. So I'm just working my way slowly here. And I already see a little bit that's stuck here. We can try to get that off as well. But this is why I don't like doing it, because I just feel like it's unnecessary. And you'll see in a second the amount we get off. Come on, buddy. There we go. Okay, so a little bit left. I love having the dirty hand, clean hand. I just completely destroyed that concept. But this is what we're working with. This is your membrane. See that? Pretty hot, right? It is tough. It is tough to pull apart. Maybe I can come in here with my knife and just rip this guy off here. Yeah, that'll do. Now notice we still have a little bit left holding the ribs together. We actually want that so the ribs don't fall apart in the cooking process. But we got the, quote, nasty, hard thing down that won't render. So we got this one with no membrane. We're gonna take this guy here. I'm gonna actually switch these so you can see what I'm doing. We're gonna take this guy here, we're gonna score this membrane. So all I really do with this, I just come across, make a nice slit right in the center there. And then I'll just come through, make little cuts just like so. Just like that. It's that simple. That's why I like this method, because it's so easy. And then lastly, I probably don't need to show you this, but this guy right here is going to have the membrane on. We ain't doing anything with it. So that being said, as far as a rub goes, I'm gonna keep it simple, guys, because we are looking for membrane doneness, crispy, whatever, not really how the rub is. So I'm gonna be just doing my normal binder with yellow mustard and simple salt, pepper mix. At the end of this, I'm gonna be doing a blind taste test. It might just be me. Some of my friends might stop by. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't talked to them, but we're going to be looking for a few things. The first thing, obviously, is the membrane noticeable, right? Is it chewy? Can we tell there's a membrane there, or is it non-existent, or is it crispy? Is it really that big of a deal? The other thing I'm gonna be looking at is the amount of smoke flavor we have and how the seasoning penetrated the meat. So a lot of times people will say, if you season the membrane, which I'm gonna do here, right, it's not gonna penetrate the meat. They'll say the smoke flavor won't get in. That's probably actually very true. I don't know that for a fact. That's what we're gonna find out today. But I'm looking to see which ribs have the best overall smoke flavor, and did the seasoning really get in the meat, adhere to the meat, all that good stuff. We're obviously gonna be looking for appearance and how everything kind of looks at the end of it. Most of the time, we're not really looking at the underside of the ribs, but we'll check them out and see how they are. And then weirdly enough, the last thing, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on cooking time. I wanna see if any of these take a little bit longer to cook because the membrane's on or shorter time because the membrane's off. I don't know what's gonna happen. So let's get these bad boys rubbed up and smoked up. Okay, so first in the back corner, we're gonna put our full membrane guy. In the middle, we're gonna have our scored membrane guy. And then last but not least, right here, our removed membrane guy. I'm trying to space it out. It's a little tight, but I'm trying to get some airflow in between these guys if I can, which it's a little tough, but they're gonna shrink up. So just in review, no membrane, scored membrane, and still has a membrane. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. All right, so I'm not really gonna be changing anything about this cook because you don't wanna change anything, right? You just wanna change one thing if you're testing something. Basically, if you've never seen me cook ribs, my process is very simple. We're gonna take the first few hours, we're gonna add some smoke flavor at lower temps around 250. Then we're going to bump our temps up to really cook the inside, try to get a nice bark if we can, and add some pullback to the ribs just for aesthetics. Then we're gonna wrap them for about an hour and then we're gonna sauce them and let them sit. The one thing I have changed within my cooking process of ribs is typically on this smoker, I actually start bumping my temps up around the 2.5 hour mark instead of the 3 hour mark. I just found that it expedites the cooking process a little bit and the result isn't any different. That being said, we're gonna let these go for about 2 hours. We're gonna go 250, add smoke flavor, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna see if we have to spritz or anything, but we're really going to be looking at how the ribs are coming along, looking at internal temps. Does that matter? Not really. But I just wanna see if the removal of the membrane's affecting anything. Oh, and one thing I wanna show you guys, thanks to my awesome brother, Sean, who cut down a dead apple tree in my mother's yard. I got me some apple wood. When I do typical smokes, I'm not using fruit woods, but for things like pork products, like pork butt, pork belly, ribs, obviously, apple wood adds a nice, like a color to your ribs. I get great color without a fruit wood. Some people swear by it. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm gonna use it today. And I'm just gonna, like I said, it's not gonna affect the flavor or anything because I'm still mixing in my hickory wood that I always use. So I'm just throwing a piece of this on every other time I put wood on or something, just for shits and giggles, basically. I know I just said we don't want to change a bunch of shit when we do experiments, but this isn't really a change. I've done it before, so I'm not really concerned about it. I'll see you in 2 hours. Okay, so let's take our internal temperatures. It's been about 2.5 hours. Ooh, we're a little hot over here, 180. If we go over to this side, we're at 154, 153. Okay, same on this one. So just as a point of reference, remember this one has no membrane. This is scored. The one in the back has a membrane. So this one seems to be the coldest with the membrane. We're at 162. I don't know if you can see that. And then over here, okay, we're at 158. The consensus is this seems to be the most even one, but it's cooler. These two are hot down here and a little cooler down here. So because we have this area that's a little hotter, I'm gonna flip these guys, but while we do that, let's take a look at the bottom. This is the one without the membrane, coming along nicely. Our boy that's scored, you can sort of see the scoring here where the membrane's crisping up. And we'll just flip this one as well. Here's the membrane guy. Now you can definitely tell it still has a membrane, but who knows? Don't really want to spray or anything. I don't see a need to. They're not drying out. So that being said, let's shut her down. And look at this specimen hunting chipmunks. What a beautiful creature. God, he's behaving today. He's been outside with me all day. I don't know where the other one is. Usually she's at the door, but she ain't here today. Oh well. You behave. So we're getting a little smoky now that I opened this guy up, but so far we are on perfect track. I think all of these so far will get done at the same time. That's just my assumption. But at this point, we are going to bump our temperatures up, get a nice pullback on the ribs. The internal temperatures are at that point that I usually look for around 160, 170. So let's bump these temperatures up and we'll check back when we're about to wrap these bad boys in about an hour and a half. All right, it's been about 4.5 hours, just under, since we put these guys on. We're looking at about 180 on either side. So putting them down here actually helped the temperature. It's a little hotter down here, I guess. 180 on that side, 180 here. Get some meat, 175. We are in a good point to wrap, people. I just want to really bring you in here. Look at this beautiful color on this guy. If we flip him over, looks really, really good. Once again, this is our no membrane guy. I will say not a lot of pullback on these guys altogether. We got some, this is the scored membrane. You know, it could be better, but it doesn't always happen. It really depends on the ribs. And this is our membrane on point guy. So I got some pullback there, pullback up here. This actually might have the most pullback out of all of them. So we're gonna take some spray, put it down. This is just apple cider vinegar and water. And we'll start with our no membrane. Might be a little too much foil. I don't really know. I don't really care. No membrane right here. Spray down this next guy. We got our scored membrane. This guy actually shrunk up a lot. This was our bigger slab, I believe. And something I forgot to do on the last one, but I just did it, so no worries. Everything's the same. Just spraying the top a little bit. And last but not least, our membrane guy. And there we go. Spray the top a little bit. And we are good to go, people. Just like that. I've rotated them back so the thicker parts are facing the fire. And we should be good to go. All right, so we're still right on track. All of them are cooking very, very evenly now. We're gonna keep our temperatures around 275 to really cook the inner parts and render that fat down and all that good stuff. These are gonna be delicious. That color looks amazing. We'll be good to go. So I'll check back in approximately 1 hour. We'll see where we're at. All right, so when I pick these guys up, we got some nice flop going on. All these seem to be done at pretty much the same time. This one's a little firm still, but the internal temp is pretty good. That being said, I should take an internal temp to show y'all. We're about 200 here. This one was a little higher. Oh, there we go. We're at 204 there. So all these look pretty damn good. Let's sauce these guys up. No membrane, membrane scored, and last but not least, membrane on. So we'll take our sauce here. I know the lighting's not that great, but we're gonna pour it on. We're gonna let it set. Spread it out like so. And this sauce is just a mixture of Sweet Baby Ray's sticky sweet, and then I have some apple cider vinegar I added to it. About a 75-25 mixture. That looks great. Let's shut her down. And after these are done, we'll give them a try. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We got our ribs. Similar pullback on pretty much all of them. The one thing I will note is that with the no membrane, or I'm sorry, excuse me, this is the membrane one. Kind of weird where the membrane is. It pulled back quite a bit, but I don't know, like there's more even pullback on the other two. I just want to look at the underside of all of them before I cut them. So we have the scored membrane. Yeah, I don't know. You can tell there was a membrane, but it's sort of in pieces, you know. I don't know if you can see that from here, but there's a crispiness to it. And then with this guy, the no membrane, the bones are obviously showing. So typically I turn these over to cut into them, but I'm gonna cut them right here and try my best because I want to see where the bone is. See, I already screwed it up. Let's go right here, put one on here, and I'm really trying to get where the membrane would be. So I'll take this guy right here on this one, and this guy right here on this one, trying to make it as even as possible. On this one, we'll go right here, and I think I can go right about here. Perfect, and we'll cut this right down the middle. And there we go. And then we'll take these guys and we'll shuffle them up. My taste tester is on the other side of the camera. Don't fucking pay attention to what I'm doing, please. You know, you don't know. I'm trying not to know, actually. I'm too drunk to know what I'm doing. I literally don't remember which one this is with the extra chunk. So don't think I'm cheating, because I really have no idea. Okay, I think that's good. You think that's good? And joining us as always when we test ribs, ladies and gentlemen, is Big Boy D-Rock. What'd you say? What'd you call yourself?
Big Boy D-Rock.
Big Boy D-Rock. Okay. All right. So Big Boy D-Rock, he knows the deal here. He knows what we've been doing. He's kind of big and he's hungry.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's also great at fixing hardscapes. So if you have a patio that you're looking to repair, this is the guy to call. Stone Creek Hardscape.
LLC.
Almost couldn't remember that because, I'm a great friend.
And you're drinking.
Yeah, so we're all set. All right, so like I said, he knows the deal. He knows what we were trying to accomplish here, but he doesn't know which rib is rib. Which rib is which.
You don't either.
Yeah, no, I don't either. We're just going to take a taste. We're going to see what we think of each one of them, and we're going to go from there, okay? So let's start with this one.
Should I look at it?
I don't know. I did.
I want to look at it, but I'm not going to.
Just taste it. Whatever. Not fall off the bone, but not chewy whatsoever. Right? When I took that bite, that sort of pulled a little bit. I think I know which one this one is.
I think I know too.
Yeah. I mean, that one, I feel like that's pretty easy. What do you think of the smoke flavor and all that shit?
It's good. I mean, there's membrane on that. I know
Yeah.
for sure that.
Yeah, that's...
I won't say what it is unless you want me to, but...
Yeah, I think it's the membrane one.
No, I think it's scored.
You think that one scored?
I think that one's scored.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I think that one's scored.
I
haven't tried the other ones yet, but I think that one.
Maybe I just feel like that because my piece was... I felt like I had a good chunk of membrane on there.
I mean, I had membrane, but...
And I've always had scored membrane, so I feel like I know what that tastes like and what it feels like.
Next one, I guess.
Okay. I'm trusting my gut here. More fat, which... Oh.
I feel like the flavor penetrated through this one better for some reason.
Yeah.
It's more smoky, definitely.
More smoky, and I get like more sweetness, like the salt. That's cool. The fries are done. Ding fries are done. I feel a little more sweetness on this. That's probably like I don't want to focus on that because that's just the barbecue sauce probably, but
yeah.
Like, look up.
This one's good though.
I think I did a good job picking a 3-pack of ribs that were pretty similar.
Yeah, I would say that one's a little thicker, maybe a slightly moister.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to do with the membrane. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But
all right. So and then last one. I feel like I know what this one is. I'm going to go 3 for 3 here.
You're going 3 for 3.
I'm going 3 for 3.
I mean, I get a re-guess at the end.
Yeah, I'm going 3 for 3. Similar flavor, but also similar thickness. But
my bone's falling out on this one.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I must have fucked it up. But I don't think it's way, not way less pull apart, but I mean, they're all really like fall off the bone. Yeah, I know which one's which. I already know.
You know?
Yep.
That one's no membrane, scored membrane.
Okay. So if you didn't hear him, he said no membrane, scored membrane. I am going to go with scored, no membrane, membrane. Scored. So
wrong.
So review yours again.
No membrane, scored membrane.
Okay. And the reason I'm saying this is because, first of all, these two I think tasted the best, right? I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think this one was the flavor, and that one for some reason was really good.
Yep.
This one was about the same.
As far as cooking, they were all pretty much the same.
They're all pretty close.
Yeah.
That one was falling off, which makes me think it's no membrane.
Okay.
Just because there's nothing holding it together.
Okay. We'll throw our ribs on here so we know whose is whose, so we don't cross contaminate because we don't
like germs.
We're not like that much of like weirdness. We're pretty close, but not that close. Let's go on the one we agree on, which was membrane.
Yep. Membrane.
Okay, and we have. I love membrane, so we got that one right. Okay, I feel like that one was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Because you lift it up and you're like, okay, there's a membrane on this.
You could definitely feel it when you bit into it too.
Yeah.
It was definitely there.
It pulled off, and you're like, oh, okay, there's something there. Like it wasn't. Now it's not disgusting.
No, it was still good.
Yeah.
I feel like the flavor didn't come into it as much though.
Right. So, and then we have this one. This is the one we're disagreeing on. Okay, and this one's scored in Derek's. This one's no membrane in me. And we have, I don't know what that says.
No membrane, I think.
No membrane. You suck, man.
Come on.
What do you not do this for a living?
I'm an amateur rib eater.
I don't do this for a living either. And then obviously we have the scored membrane. I'm trying to see it through the plate. I didn't cheat though.
He was cheating. He saw through the plate.
I could not see through the plate down here. If you want me to put the camera up to that, I can. I cannot see through the plate. But okay, so knowing what we know now, what do you think was your favorite?
I think the scored. Or no membrane.
No membrane?
I feel like the flavor was more there, which makes sense because there was no membrane, so it could sew through easier.
Yeah. I agree with him. But the thing I will say is that if you can't, yeah, they were very, very close. So if you can't, let's say you're running a barbecue restaurant. Why are you watching my channel? I have no idea. You probably shouldn't be, because I'm just a drunk that likes making barbecue. But if you're watching my channel, or maybe you have dreams of making a barbecue restaurant and you're like, I can't remove a membrane every single freaking time I want to make ribs because you're making hundreds of pounds of ribs a day, the scored method is absolutely fine. The membrane method is completely fine too. I don't think it's the best. I think between the two of these, no membrane is way better than membrane. But if you have to save time, or maybe you're just doing it in the backyard like I always do, make the scored membrane method. I don't think you're going to really notice a difference. I barely notice a difference. They're both really good, but I would say at least score your membrane and not just leave it on. Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
If you are lazy, just score it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Little effort.
yeah, a little bit of effort. But anyway, everyone, that's going to do it for this episode of Fatty's Feast. If you did, in fact, like what you saw, please smash that like button, get this content out to more people, and also leave a comment in the comment section down below of things you want to see me make on the smoker, on the griddle. It doesn't matter. I'll do all this shit you guys want to see. Over here, I'm going to put a video. What am I doing? A video specifically designed for you.
Like right here.
Oh, it's down here. No, it's down here.
Down here?
Specifically designed for you, where Derek's pointing. You're going to love it. And then over here, we're going to do my smoker pork playlist, which is hours of entertainment. You'll love it. Check it out. Believe me, it's going to be great. And right in the middle, everyone, if you love this diabetic, bald, average, bearded looking face so much, you can subscribe to this channel to see more of me whenever I publish. But until next time, everyone, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay hungry. Fuck you.
Come on!